tonight, Vancouver's stratospheric housing prices now not so sky high.
I've been spoiled here for years where you list a house one day and you get 10 offers the next day. But now it's, you got to price it, you got to market it.
New numbers show government measures have cooled a once red-hot market. What the rest of the country can learn from the West Coast. Plus, police say if you think you've seen the BC fugitives, call it in.
Yesterday, in about 8 hours, we received about over 30 tips.
It turns out dozens of people are doing just that. We'll tell you how investigators are handling the calls.
That kind of burning injustice inside you, that feeling of having been wronged.
Stealing hearts and words in the billion-dollar romance novel industry. Writers are seeing their labors of love ripped off. This is The National. But first, let's begin with breaking news out of Alberta. A train derailment just under 5 hours ago has shut down part of the Trans-Canada Highway and prompted an immediate evacuation order. It happened near the hamlet of Irvine. That's about a 3.5-hour drive southeast of Calgary. Police say between 12 and 15 cars left the tracks, and some may be carrying flammable cargo. An emergency alert issued by the province says the derailment involves, quote, chemical exposure. The evacuation zone is 7 kilometers around Irvine. We'll be updating this story throughout the evening. But on to Canada's most expensive housing market now. It's in a slump, and for some people here in Vancouver, that's good news. New figures released today are dramatic. The benchmark price dropped by 9.4% in the past year, and just yesterday, the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation removed its red flag from the Vancouver market. Greg Rasmussen shows us how it was done.
Out comes the sign, and in come potential buyers, lured by a possible bargain.
Very nice. I like how they've kept some of the original character.
A house that a couple years ago would have fetched $3 million, now listed for $2 million.
Well, we've been waiting now for at least looking for 2 years, now on and off, so it's like a never-ending process.
For July, the number of sales in Vancouver was up compared to last year, but prices continued to fall. Overall, they're down nearly 10% from a year ago. But the higher end has been hit much harder.
Probably from the peak, it's down 30%.
This realtor says the federal mortgage stress test, BC's 20% tax on foreign buyers, and Vancouver's empty homes tax are causing prices to fall.
People have been spoiled here for years where you list a house one day and you get 10 offers the next day and oh yay, but now it's, you got to price it, you got to market it.
For those who bought recently, it can be painful. This townhouse in Vancouver sold in 2016 for $1.8 million. It just traded hands for $200,000 less. In 2017, it cost more than $3.4 million to buy this house. It just sold for a $1.1 million loss. At the same time, new construction is adding to the supply.
We do have a record number of units currently under construction.
Combined with a weaker market, that increase in choice will add to the downward pressure.
We do expect house prices to move on average 7% lower for 2019 in Metro Vancouver, and that will be followed by another 4% price decline next year.
Back at the open house, some potential buyers welcome the slowdown.
I've lived here my whole life, and I've known many families having to leave the city because of the increased housing prices. So, I've lost a lot of friends who have been born and raised here.
A change that's renewing hope in some quarters, causing financial pain in others. And this place, despite the $2 million price tag, the agent said he received 2 offers after the open house. Greg Rasmussen, CBC News, Vancouver.
Ontario has also had a foreign buyers tax since 2017, and it cooled sales in Toronto. Today, RBC said the Toronto market is recovering gradually. Demand is strong enough that near-record condo construction is not a threat. Foreign buyers may be looking elsewhere. In Montreal, RBC says rising foreign involvement is one of the factors that fuels buyer interest. We're still about a month from the official start of the fall federal election campaign, but rest assured campaign planks are being unveiled at a rapid clip. Today, Andrew Scheer was in Toronto. The Conservative leader wanted to make it clear that he's committed to Canadian health care. But as Olivia Stefanovich tells us, a promise to Canadian premiers hasn't stopped opponents from comparing him to one premier in particular.
As the election nears, I know that Justin Trudeau will try to spread misinformation and stoke fear.
Pushing back against what could be an ugly election campaign, Conservative leader Andrew Scheer is trying to gain the upper hand over Justin Trudeau.
While he focuses on a campaign of fear and smear, I will focus on making sure you have the services that you need.
Scheer pledges in letters to all the premiers that if elected, he would continue to increase health and social transfer payments by at least 3% every year. Further details still have to be spelled out, but as soon as the Conservative strategy was announced, Scheer received a letter of his own. Finance Minister Bill Morneau writes, under the Liberals, healthcare funding would in fact rise by 4.1%. And says Scheer's 3% increase amounts to a $1.5 billion cut. Then Morneau draws a comparison to Ontario Premier Doug Ford, stating, "You may write letters and make promises now and during the election campaign, but Canadians know that you will make painful cuts." After Morneau's letter, Scheer responded on Twitter, accusing the Liberals of lying and promising to maintain the current formula. Regardless, this expert would like to see a bigger commitment.
3% only covers the population growth and the inflation, but it doesn't contain the growth of real services.
The intent of the announcement was to distance himself from the Ontario Premier, but the Liberals are keeping the comparison front and centre.
Doug Ford made the same empty promises, then turned around and cut health care, public health, and so much more.
I think it's a product of the Liberal campaign not being able to label Andrew Scheer.
Meanwhile, the Conservatives are attacking on a different front.
I think for the Scheer campaign, this has to be a referendum on the Prime Minister and on his record.
But that's not the only record Scheer will be running against if the Liberals continue to invoke Ford's name. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Ottawa.
Police in Regina are looking into a pair of troubling assaults. The attacker throws coffee on someone's face, and the motivation may be race. Bonnie Allen spoke to one of the victims.
Falgun Vavia likes to play video games on his cell phone when he's on his break at Walmart, so he never saw it coming. On this video, recorded and posted online by the alleged perpetrators, someone calls out.
Excuse me?
Vavia glances up, and the stranger throws a cup of coffee in his face.
They just threw coffee on me, and I was in complete shock. The one that threw coffee was laughing and then ran, and the other all shooting the video were making fun of me.
The coffee was lukewarm, so Vavia wasn't injured. Police are investigating this and a second confirmed attack, along with reports of more. One victim was attacked outside Winners. Co-workers say he's from Nigeria. Shoppers are reacting with disgust.
That's pretty gross.
Some believe it's no coincidence that both victims are not white.
When you literally just go after somebody, that's just not right. Doesn't matter color, race, religion.
It's a country of all different culture and a different race.
Do you think the victim was targeted?
Well, of course, that is clearly visible there.
Police say they haven't ruled out race as a possible motivation. The person who posted the video online said this. Yeah, maybe it wasn't right of us to do that, and I'm going to apologize right here if it'll make everyone happy. He writes, keep the hate coming, then complains about all the angry messages he's received. He didn't respond to our message, but he defends himself here, saying he only pressed record. He didn't throw the coffee. Gord Pennycook is a behavioral science professor at the University of Regina.
The fact that he was recording the video played a direct, causal role in the person getting splashed with coffee, which means he's as responsible as the person who splashed the coffee, because it wouldn't have happened if he wasn't recording the video.
Vavia only moved to Canada from India in January. He's living with family, going to university, and working part-time. He admits he's scared, but
Everyone was supporting me also after the video went viral. I think all Regina was with me.
Bonnie Allen, CBC News, Regina.
The U.S. has officially withdrawn from a landmark arms treaty with Russia that helped put an end to the Cold War. Today, both sides confirmed it is dead, and that is sparking fears of a renewed arms race. The Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty banned an entire category of weapons, medium-range missiles launched from the ground, which back then were deployed across Europe. In 1987, the Soviet Union was warming up to the West under its policy of glasnost, or openness.
Russia has jeopardized the United States' security interest, and we can no longer be restricted by the treaty while Russia shamelessly violates it.
Now Washington says Russia has been ignoring the treaty and the U.S. needs to catch up. The treaty's demise will also push a new generation of sophisticated weapons into the open, missiles capable of striking targets almost anywhere. But in this Cold War, there would be 3 power players. Lindsay Duncombe reports.
When the U.S. president talks about nuclear weapons, it very much sounds like a race.
We're number 1, Russia's number 2, and China's number 3, but China's quite a bit down.
The end of this specific treaty isn't a surprise. Russia had been violating its terms with missile tests for years. But what worries nuclear proliferation experts is the big picture.
This is very scary times. We are in a new nuclear arms race. If you thought this was behind us, you're wrong.
And he says it's as much about China as it is about Russia. China wasn't bound by the treaty, so it was free to stockpile the banned weapons.
China, for many in this administration, is the foe on the rise, the one they want to confront.
Still, the treaty's demise is the most immediately unsettling for Europe. These Russian missiles can reach European cities with just minutes of warning. NATO today promised a measured response.
We will not mirror what Russia does. We don't want a new arms race. And we have no intention to deploy new land-based nuclear missiles in Europe.
And there's another big deadline looming. The New START treaty signed in 2010 is set to expire next year. It caps nuclear warheads. In a speech this week, National Security Advisor John Bolton suggested it might not be renewed.
Why extend a flawed system just to say you have a treaty?
What the administration wants is arms control agreements with both Russia and China. That won't be easy. The president said today he's spoken to leaders of both countries about it. And,
you know, I've redone our nuclear. We have new nuclear coming. I hate to tell that to people. I hate to say it because it's devastating, but we've always got to be in the lead.
A hint at a new race where the old rules don't apply. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Washington.
On the same day he's scrapping the arms pact with Moscow, Donald Trump is talking up efforts to persuade Kim Jong-un to abandon his nuclear ambitions. This as new images of missile launches emerge out of North Korea. That's state media reporting the test of a guided rocket system, the 3rd launch in just over a week, and supervised personally by Kim himself. The latest projectiles were short range and fell into the Sea of Japan. The tests are widely seen as a response to the planned military exercises between South Korea and the U.S. The U.S. president's response came in a series of tweets. Chairman Kim does not want to disappoint me with a violation of trust. There is far too much for North Korea to gain, far too much to lose. And this.
Those are short-range missiles, sure. And a lot of other countries test that kind of missile also.
At the UN Thursday, the UK, France, and Germany called on North Korea to engage in meaningful talks with the U.S. But today, the North Korean foreign minister skipped an annual meeting with South Korea, Japan, and the United States. Women in Saudi Arabia woke up today to the promise of a freer future. News that by the end of the month, the country's restrictive male guardianship rules will loosen a bit. Once that happens, women over the age of 21 will be allowed to get a passport and travel without needing a male's consent. They'll also be allowed to register a marriage, divorce, or child's birth and act as a child's legal guardian. That is a big change from the way things are now, when a woman's son sometimes acts as her guardian in the absence of a father or husband. The change is being celebrated by many, but there is criticism too from those who say there is still so much more to do. We spoke to Saudi scholar and activist Hala Al-Dosari.
Very happy, of course, any kind of restrictions removed is a leap of faith for all of us.
In a country where women are forced to rely on the goodwill of men for so much, this is significant, and it follows a trend. In 2015, Saudi women got the right to vote. In 2018, the world's last ban on female drivers was lifted there. Women could finally take themselves to work, if they did work, or to meet friends. A freedom of movement about to grow but not yet become universal.
It's definitely going to grant a lot of women opportunities to engage effectively in training and work opportunities, as well as travel if needed to escape violence. Of course, we're expecting more.
Even after these changes, women will still need permission to get married, leave prison, even leave a domestic abuse shelter. So why change things now? The answer is two-pronged, says Aldosari. First, the need to get more women working.
The economy has not been going well as planned. Women are the large proportion of unemployed youth inside Saudi Arabia.
Second, the image issue. The murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi and stories of women like Rahaf Mohammed have grabbed headlines.
I'm not leaving my room until I see UNHCR.
Her accusations of abuse under the guardianship system, risking her life to flee to Canada, haven't helped politically.
Part of being embraced by the international community and to restore faith is to approach the issue of restrictions on women.
Part of that, says Aldosari and others like Amnesty International, releasing female activists detained fighting for precisely these kinds of rights. We're live on The National and tracking several developing stories tonight, including emotional services held for 4 murder victims in Toronto.
Very gentle and friendly, polite family. I'll miss them.
About 500 people gathered at the Islamic Foundation of Toronto today to remember the 4 people killed in their Markham home over the weekend. A 23-year-old man has been charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. We're told the 4 dead are the suspect's grandmother, parents, and sister.
She seems so steady and sincere and loyal. I think she was just a perfect representative of the Queen.
New Brunswick's Lieutenant Governor has died. Jocelyn Roy Vianneau was battling cancer. The 63-year-old was the first Acadian woman to serve as Lieutenant Governor. She spent nearly 5 years on the job, championing literacy and mental health. Official events at Government House in Fredericton are cancelled until further notice. And a community meeting is underway in Gillam, Manitoba tonight. The remote town has been inundated by police and journalists as officers search for Briar Schmegelski and Cam McLeod, the fugitives wanted for those murders in northern BC. Police are now reducing their presence in Gillam, but the meeting is being held for residents to talk about what's happened. The RCMP will also be there to answer questions. So more than a week now with no sign of the 2 wanted men and no clues as to where they are. Today, the Ontario Provincial Police issued a public safety warning heading into the long weekend. They say tips are flooding in.
Yesterday, in about 8 hours, we received about over 30 tips, and these tips came from across Ontario.
Among what tipsters said, they may have seen the suspects hitchhiking, driving, shopping, in all corners of a very big province. The OPP says every tip is followed up on, a team newly in place, tasked not just with getting the details, but analyzing them.
Where are these tips coming from? Is there a pattern?
Of course, there is no confirmation the suspects are even in Ontario. The last place they were seen was Split Lake, Manitoba on July 22nd, 11 days ago, and just hours before their burned vehicle was found in nearby Gillam. McLeod and Schmegelski are both 6'4", and this is what they looked like when they disappeared, but their appearance may have changed by now. If you think you see them, no matter where you are, police say don't approach. Remember as many details as you can, clothing, a license plate number, even part of one, and call it in immediately.
Not to use social media as a means of reporting or sharing with their friends. They need to report to police. That should be their priority.
The OPP also wants you to be especially vigilant online.
Be careful on the information you read on social media, making sure that you obtain it from a credible source.
Check what you read and be careful with what you share. Still ahead on The National, from page turners to copyright lawsuits, the ugly truth in the romance novel industry. But first, staying in Vogue, praise and backlash for Meghan Markle's September issue.
I think there's clearly a desire there to stamp her mark on the royal scene and be an influencer and be somebody who champions women.
I think she did well. I really liked it. I mean, it really captured her sense of beauty and fashion.
On the streets of London, some couldn't be happier with Meghan Markle's latest project. The Duchess of Sussex guest edited the latest edition of British Vogue, but not everyone shares that enthusiasm. She took the fashion Bible in a decidedly different direction. And as Cameron McIntosh tells us, she raised a few eyebrows along the way.
She's not on the cover, but no question, this is Meghan's Vogue, guest edited by the Duchess of Sussex. For these loyal readers, an exciting moment.
As soon as they announced it, I was very excited. I was like, it's coming out Friday, I'm going to pick up.
If not conflicting.
Should a royal be editing Vogue?
No.
Why not?
Because what authority has she got?
September is British Vogue's biggest, most read, most influential issue. Like everything Meghan Markle these days, it's getting both praise and criticism.
I am here to change the way we look at the climate.
Meghan opted to feature activists, models, actresses, and one politician, mostly left-leaning, mostly women of color. Definitely a statement, says this royal watcher.
I think there's clearly a desire there to stamp her mark on the royal scene and be an influencer and be somebody who champions women.
But in the mercurial British press, some are telling the Duchess to stick to her lane. The Daily Mail accused Meghan of vanity and virtue signaling for compiling a list of celebrities seemingly chosen more for what their inclusion says about you than anything else. Other royals, the Duchess of Cambridge and Princess Diana, have appeared on the cover of Vogue.
Hugely grateful for this platform.
Prince Harry and Prince Charles, meanwhile, have guest edited other UK media. None got the same flack as Meghan. This writer says race could be a factor.
With Meghan, we have seen a level of racism in the coverage about her. Now, that's not to say that's intentional, but there is an unconscious bias there.
I don't think it's a racial issue. I think it's an issue of whether it's appropriate for her to be guest editing a glossy magazine that costs £4 and advertise luxury brands.
Out on the newsstands, it's unclear if Vogue can really influence change. But for now, Meghan's influence is definitely in Vogue. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, London.
Still ahead on The National, the not-so-romantic side to romance novels, why that industry is plagued by plagiarism.
I went and downloaded the book and found, in fact, quite a few passages that were, not just slightly similar, but just word for word copied from my own work.
We are live on The National with the latest on the train derailment in southeast Alberta. The evacuation order has been expanded to a 7-kilometer radius around the site. And you can see the train cars in some video we have here. Police say between 12 and 15 left the tracks. Some may be carrying flammable cargo. An emergency alert issued by the province says the derailment involves, quote, chemical exposure. That prompted an immediate evacuation around the hamlet of Irvine, about a 3.5-hour drive southeast of Calgary. A reception center for evacuees has been set up in nearby Dunmore. And we're keeping a close watch on Indonesia tonight after a powerful 6.9 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast. It hit near the islands of Sumatra and Java. A tsunami warning was issued but then lifted, but it was enough to send people running out of office buildings and hotels in panic. There were no reports of casualties or major damage to the area.
Been a long battle, 5 years too long, and finally somebody has said that there's some information that this cop has done something wrong.
A New York judge has ruled that a police officer should be fired over the death of Eric Garner, an unarmed black man whose dying words were, "I can't breathe." The officer was accused of putting Garner in a banned chokehold during an arrest in 2014. The officer doesn't face any criminal charges related to Garner's death. He's now suspended without pay for 30 days, awaiting a final decision from the police commissioner, which is expected to come this month. Imitation may well be the sincerest form of flattery, but laying claim to someone else's creativity can have a hefty price. Just ask Katy Perry. That's Perry's hit Dark Horse. Now, take a listen to a song that's 4 years older by Christian rapper Marcus Gray. This week, a Los Angeles judge ordered the music superstar, her producer and writer, to pay almost $2.8 million US. A jury ruling Perry's song contained a 6-note beat copied from Gray's tune. And pop culture plagiarism goes well beyond music. As our Deanna Sumanak-Johnson tells us, there's a whole lot of love missing from the world of romance novels right now for the copycats who dare to ignore copyright.
Effortlessly, he lifts me at the hips and settles me on the most clear surface.
Rebecca Young has put out 56 romance novels under pen names Ainsley Booth or Zoe York. She publishes them herself and sells them online on sites like Amazon. Then one day, her readers noticed another book had a plot eerily similar to Young's novel about a Canadian prime minister and his intern, right down to the names of one of the main characters.
It was shocking just how many similarities there were.
The book Young co-wrote was called Prime Minister. The book she alleges copied her, Yes, Prime Minister.
It is frustrating when you discover that kind of burning injustice inside you, that feeling of having been wronged.
Some of the similarities?
The head of security, in my story, his name is Lachlan. In the other story, his name is Locke. In Prime Minister, the Prime Minister says, I discovered it when I was a new MP. They're talking about a restaurant. And in Yes, Prime Minister, I found this place in my first year in office.
There are many more examples, but since Yes, Prime Minister did not copy paragraphs of her book word for word, Amazon won't take it down. But the industry is also plagued by direct plagiarism, authors stealing material word for word. At the Romance Writers of America conference, which Young attended, it is top of mind for many. Courtney Milan, a big name in the world of historical romance fiction, also had a reader tip her off.
I went and downloaded the book and found, in fact, quite a few passages that were, not just slightly similar, but just word for word copied from my own work.
The alleged culprit is Brazilian author Cristiane Saruia. 40 different authors accuse her of lifting from their books. Milan says the damage she suffered is both emotional.
We were writing about things that were very, very important to us.
And reputational.
Somebody might read Cristiane Saruia's book before they read mine, and if they did so, they might be left with the impression that I was unoriginal in my phrasing or some of the things that I'd chosen to do because they read it in hers first. And that is something that would hurt me in the marketplace.
In fact, Nora Roberts, the superstar of romance novels, made news earlier this year when she took Saruia to court for plagiarism. The case is still ongoing in Brazil. It's a choice not all authors have the time or resources to make. Despite challenges, Rebecca Young isn't leaving her industry anytime soon.
Our book is a robust novel that continues to have fans to this day. At the end of the day, you have
people can spot a fake?
And people can spot a fake. And I trust readers, my readers.
Living out her fantasy life by tapping into other people's fantasies. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, London, Ontario.
Still ahead on The National, we revisit one family's painful dilemma, wondering who will be left to care for their son with a developmental disability when they're no longer around.
Kathleen, how much, as Brendan's mother, how much does his future after you're gone weigh in your mind?
A lot. I mean, that's the main thing. If I could live forever, that would be great, but I can't. The greatest fear would be that he has to go into a place like a large institution and that we don't have any say about it.
A Nova Scotia mother's daunting dilemma, securing the future of an adult child with a developmental disability while fulfilling his dream of his own place and purpose in the local community. Our Tom Murphy spent time with Brendan Purdy Smith and his family to learn more about their efforts to ensure that he thrives outside an institution. Tonight we revisit their story and their struggle.
Push. Okay.
Okay, let's start again.
This is Brendan Purdy Smith at age 11.
And then there's some
A piano lesson with a favorite teacher. But this is as far as he will ever develop.
short, short, long. Very nice job, bud.
He's an adult now, but the notes he plays are still the same. This is Brendan's morning routine that would be anything but for most. For all of Brendan's 29 years, his parents have been his caregivers, his lifeline, 24/7.
Good morning.
You see, although he's bigger than his father, Brendan's essentially a 3-year-old toddler inside an adult's body. But like us all, he has a personality, a life, even a job, because his parents Kim and Kathleen have been determined to make it so.
So Brendan did a lot of things himself this morning.
But it's his next phase in life that consumes Kim and Kathleen now. Kathleen, how much, as Brendan's mother, how much does his future after you're gone weigh in your mind?
A lot. I mean, that's the main thing. If I could live forever, that would be great. But I can't, and I know in the past, when we have conversations with parents, they say, well, I will always be here for my child. I think, wait a minute, no, you won't. And just coming to that realization, it's pretty important.
Kathleen is in her 70s. Her constant fear is who will be left to care for Brendan when she's gone, a question that gnaws at her after 9 years on a wait list for permanent care for her son, to no avail. This is how Brendan's story began. Kathleen and Kim made a film about their only son from his earliest days, and like new parents do, they looked into their infant's eyes with wonder and dreams for Brendan's future. And then, just before Brendan turned 2, they got the diagnosis: severe global developmental delay.
And I went, delayed? So what does that mean? Like, how far can he develop?
My mind, I think, went to, okay, what are we going to do? You know, how can we work with this? What are we going to do? Because we didn't know where it was going to go.
He said, we know less about the brain than we know about the stars. I can't tell you how far he can develop. I don't know. All I can tell you is stimulate him as much as you can and trust your instincts.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brendan. Happy birthday to you.
For the next 2 decades, Kim and Kathleen focused on their son. They included him in everything they did.
Would you say it was a good day? Was it a good day? You say yeah, yeah. Was it a good day? Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Give me one of those big sloppy ones. Thanks, buddy.
Despite all the love and attention they could muster, Brendan did not advance intellectually. And yet his parents sense he's where he belongs now. Part of community, stimulated socially, contributing in his own way to society.
Young children, people with disabilities, the biggest thing is transitioning. So if you're happy here, why change? So getting him to buy into the next thing that's going to happen can sometimes take a lot of coercion and bribery.
For the last 2 years, Kim and Kathleen have had some respite thanks to a support worker paid for by the province. His name is Barry Bennett. He and Brendan have become friends. But when Brendan doesn't get what he wants, he can be trying. He wants to visit his favorite music store, and the 3-year-old in him won't take no for an answer.
If you want to, but it's closed. Almost every occurrence of acting out is over
and can be completely behind Brendan within a minute, if the support person and the people around him act accordingly. But that's really hard to do when they don't understand Brendan's language. London Bridge, you want to go under the bridge? Most of them are in the vein of the reverse die.
This is Brendan's job. He and Barry create and then sell tie-dye t-shirts inspired by Brendan's love for mixing colors. On this day, they're dropping them off at local shops.
There's your money, Brendan. Thank you.
And we're lucky in that this business model with this entrepreneur, he's able to participate in these things and make them happen.
The money Brendan makes goes to buy supplies and gumballs. Brendan spends a lot of his day at a place called Capri, a sheltered workshop where adults with disabilities are encouraged to become entrepreneurs.
One light switch.
And where Barry, Brendan's 6th support worker in 9 years, has come to truly understand Brendan.
Yeah, do we need these? He's way smarter than anybody would give him credit for. He knows how to communicate way more effectively than we know how to interpret what he's saying. I'm gonna come sit here and Tom's gonna sit over there.
Brendan has more than 100 signs that are unique to him. It took Barry a year to learn them all and catalog them on a YouTube channel for future support workers.
All right, now we reverse the camera. Can you see your face? All right, can you see your face? Hey guys, it's Brendan and Bear. We're just doing an update for our blog, and today's pretty exciting because we have friends visiting us at the Makery. Brendan, who's here today? That's Steve on the camera, and Tom, Diane way back there. And they're here making a day in the life of Mr. B. Show me Dad. Dad. Show me Mom. Mom. Oh, hey, thanks, man, for the love. Can you show me the sign for piano, please? Piano! When we get the pianos ready.
The music store, when it's open, has an open door policy for Brendan. He's welcome anytime. And that's where we get a glimpse of something that gives him pure joy.
Is that a dog? Awesome. Do we need to get this man to learn how to talk? Why would we ask him to do that? I don't ask him to learn how to talk. His needs are being met by using his own communication. He doesn't have to meet my standards or everybody else's standards. They need to learn his language, his communication style. That I believe.
Like that?
As long as an individual is willing to give him undivided attention, one-to-one, the outcome is almost 99% positive every time. The worst thing for this to happen would be to Brendan to go somewhere and sit in a room all day and not be engaged.
Tweety bird. That's a little bird.
So this is Brendan's plan. This picture here is an image that Brendan desires. This is Brendan's dream.
The dream, conceived 5 years ago, was to have Brendan fully settled in a home in the community by his 30th birthday. One of their artist friends illustrated this scroll.
What is your greatest fear for Brendan?
The greatest fear would be that he has to go into a place like a large institution and that we don't have any say about it.
It's December now, another Christmas. And with the changing seasons, there's always hope that things will somehow get better.
So wide.
But they don't. The family still clings to that provincial waitlist for permanent care. And now Barry, Brendan's support worker, has had to go on a leave of absence. So the family is back to square one, with Kim and Kathleen left to care for Brendan on their own once again.
Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, we go through these different times when it's oh yeah, everything is fine, you know, and then it's like something comes at you, which is like, wake up, you know. So that's what, I don't know.
The reality of the situation.
Yeah.
How are you managing? How are you doing personally?
Mostly, I mean, okay, right? I think it's, oh.
It's hard. It is hard.
It's at times like this when their fears of Brendan ending up in a large institution take hold.
I can't imagine what it would be like for him. I mean, I can see him, you know, acting out, having bad behaviors, not wanting to do anything. I don't know what
he could just end up depressed and overweight, watching TV and nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm afraid of, that
really.
that he would really be in a downward spiral and maybe be given medication. Like, he doesn't take any medication, but I know that this is what the system, you know, one of their main techniques is to use medication.
He'll just be managed.
So that's the biggest fear, is that will happen, but so that's what we're struggling against right now.
Tom Murphy, CBC News, Canning, Nova Scotia.
And we have an update on Brendan's situation since that story originally aired this spring. He's now 30 and returned to the sheltered workshop in June. He has his own arts business, Mr. B's Makery, an enterprise he runs with the help of his developmental support worker and his volunteer business planning team. He works there 4 hours a day and still lives at home with his parents. Up next on The National, surprise discovery outside a local restaurant.
Next to the garbage pail, she saw a bag, a Walmart bag. She's like, oh, people couldn't even throw it in the garbage. So she opens it up and she saw 2 bottles of ketchup and this note.
Why a one-time condiment thief is asking for forgiveness. That's next in our moment. But first, an update on last night's moment. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride. Sicamous, BC is home to an old town road, so naturally the sign keeps getting stolen because of this song. We talked to the mayor last night about the town's decision to sell Old Town Road signs, and today the mayor delivered on his promise of their very own music video. Enjoy. I'm gonna take my horse. When a ketchup bottle went missing in a New Jersey restaurant, no one noticed. Well, no one except the person who stole it. The condiment thief sent the restaurant a confession note, racked with guilt, trying to make amends. The anonymous thief experienced a string of what they called bad luck, and shortly after the theft, someone had even crashed into the thief's car, and they felt they needed to make amends, and fast. The note behind the bad karma ketchup and the forgiveness that followed is our moment.
One of my managers was working on Wednesday night and she was closing the restaurant. It was like a little after 9. And when she was walking out to lock up, we have a garbage pail. And right next to the garbage pail, she saw a bag. So she opens it up and she saw 2 bottles of ketchup and this note. The note says, Dear Lacey Perkins, a few weeks ago, I took one of your ketchups off the table. But for some odd reason, I thought it'd be risky. This is the worst thing I've done. A few hours later, someone crashed into my car. And since then, my karma, luck, and life have been. I hope returning the 2 new bottles will restore some for me and I can stop carrying around this guilt again. So I took a picture of it and I put it in Lacey Chatter, like, you are forgiven. You know, it's because me, it's about forgiveness. It's not about you stole a ketchup. You know, it's more about saying it's okay. You did something and you admitted that you did it. How many people could admit to doing things? I actually framed it at the restaurant. I framed it with the 2 ketchup bottles and I put it as soon as you walk in.
Okay, so two things. First of all, we needed to hear that owner. She's a fantastic character, ought to have her own sitcom or reality show or podcast maybe. And then the other thing is, you know, confession is good for the soul, I suppose. And so if you have a Ketchup karma confession, tweet me. I'm here all night and it'll be fun reading. That is The National for August 2nd. Good night.